Hello viewers, I have come to speak with you about Arcane, the show that embraces cringe. You need not suffer anymore, because you're in the classroom. Oh, the misery. Everybody wants to be my enemy. Arcane is the hit collaborative project between Netflix and League of Legends, two of the many great Satans. Thrown its love of Imagine Dragons and further millennial rock, and Arcane really shouldn't work. But it does work. Oh my god, does it work. Arcane is two 9-episode seasons of incredibly fast-paced, varied character drama, lesbian police stories, boy love space operas, MILF 300.
I'm off to sample the local cuisine.
I hope you guys are ready for me to defend this woman. Above all, Arcane is always trying. It is always swinging for the fences. It doesn't matter if some of the dialogue is...
It's me, your vile villainess, the author of your nightmares,
It doesn't matter if I want to shoot at least one of the core cast in the face with a hex gun, because this show is always trying. And what it does pull off is some of the most incredible animated television I've seen in my life. So let's take a dive into the Undercity waters and talk about Arcane. I'm only human after all. I'm only human, don't put the blame on me. Now, one of the first things someone is going to ask about Arcane is, what is Arcane about? And Arcane is about a lot. Hey, take a shot of shimmer every time I say Arcane, huh? You'll be so jacked and stupid by the end. In Arcane, basically every storyline and every different little combination of characters feels like their own thing entirely. This might sound awful, like a gumbled nightmare of genres and aesthetics, a complete rebel moon of a series, and I'm sure it very easily could have been. But oh my god, it works. It works! It works! The main storyline is between Vi, a quick-to-anger Undercityite who reinvented the wheel on lesbian gooner bait, and her little sister Jinx, a terrorist with beautiful princess disorder. Over the 2 seasons, they collectively have an adoptive dad story, another adoptive dad story but with crime, sexy police procedurals, a story where their adoptive dad is back, quick bout of war. Vi and Jinx's story is a beautiful, at many times musical adventure about trust, reconciliation, and found family. Not to mention both of them, like the rest of the throwing hands contingent of the cast, being incredibly fun to watch fight. Vi is like a horizontal jackhammer of punches, while Jinx is like the baby of Junkrat and the Joker, who would have an amazing hairline.
Bruv, like, you fucked it up, like, you fucked up my hairline.
One of the really neat things about Arcane is that there's not really a traditional villain like in most shows like this. Even one of the most evil characters has enough nice moments with Jinx that I don't even think he's a traditional villain. Granted, there is an untraditional villain, one who the show does not present as a villain, but who is, at his very core, an evil person incapable of doing good.
Ontologically evil is a term used to describe something that is metaphysically impossible and incompatible with the existence of God.
Jace Talus, heir to a hammer fortune, is a plucky young inventor who one day has his apartment broken into and then is immediately acquainted with the best character in the series.
Hey, be careful with that, please.
I believe someone should have said that earlier.
I love him, he's so sassy. This is when the show undertook a glorious evolution. I really like the Undercity crime drama between Vi, Jinx, Silco, Savika, Echo, Savika, but this is where I really started to mess with this show. Jace and Victor's fast ascension to the upper crust of Piltover political society is an awesome contrast to where the show begins. And I love that through the 2 perspectives Arcane starts with, we see the very top of this society and the very bottom, and what happens when they clash. Jace and Victor push the realm of technology firmly into magic, with runes, the Arcane, and the game-changing Hex tech, which of course preceded the Hex strap, if you know you know. This advancement is promised to help every citizen between the upper and undercities, but like so many great leaps is only used for the very top of commerce and the very bottom of violent enforcement. Jace and Victor's opposing, almost predestined paths take them to both heaven and hell, Jace going from an overconfident student of science to a Resident Evil protagonist, and Victor from humble research twink to an eldritch deity, who, yeah, did become kinda evil there at the end. But Victor was cooking for a second there, like right here in his weird little Jonestown. I think he had the right idea. But if Undercity found family crime drama or high-concept space opera isn't sounding good to you,
There's more!
like many men, the only good thing about Jace Tallis is his girlfriend. And his boyfriend, but we're not talking about him right now. Mel Medarda starts as a character I really like, and then, like, a little less due to her support of a police state, and her support of Jace Tallis, but quickly becomes the door to a whole nother side of the plot and world, the introduction of Noxus, Ambessa, and the Black Rose. While Mel's design is like insanely trustworthy and almost angelic looking, her family, the Medardas, apparently hail from Noxus. I say apparently because I wouldn't have known that. I'm not some stupid nerd who plays games for losers who suck. Her mother, Ambessa, is almost the perfect foil to Mel, where Mel equips the enforcers to engage the Undercity for her. Ambessa marches into battle leading her Noxians. Ambessa and the Noxians are maybe my favorite example of how wide-reaching the tone of this series feels, with the opening of one episode that focuses on them basically feeling like a scene about the Sith from Star Wars. It's awesome. And while the magic of hex tech and runes can be scary, it's a beautiful horror, like the Shimmer from Annihilation. The Black Rose introduces a much darker horror, one that is never really fully explained either, which I really appreciate. Ambessa also has some incredible dramatic lines. It feels like they really took some extra time with her dialogue. But she's still got nothing on my boy Singed.
Nature has made us intolerant to change, but fortunately, we have the capacity to change our nature.
Hold up. His writing is this fire? Even Singed, one of the closest characters in the show to a traditional villain, just A, doesn't do that much, B, has the Mr. Freeze excuse of a loved one in stasis, and C, reconnects the show back into itself, like a horrific homunculi he made in the bowels of Zaun. Not only connecting the plots between Victor and Ambessa, but returning one of the most beloved characters in the show back to us all wrapped up in Shimmer.
What are you waiting for? He's your dad too.
Arcane opens with a 3-episode prologue, introducing us to the worlds of Piltover, Zaun, and the dynamic between them. We meet Vi, Echo, and Not Jinx's kids, along with Junkrat and Klungo, who grow up into lovely corpses. But more importantly, we meet the actual power players of the Undercity, Officer Grayson, Silco, and the proprietor of the Last Drop, Vander. In a deal with the Enforcers, Vander has been able to protect the citizens of the Undercity in exchange for them doing some less police brutality in the area. However, in a scene that the entire 3-episode prologue leads up to, Vander, Silco's crime network, and this group of plucky young kids all come to a head. A little monkey head. This was the moment where I really fell in love with Arcane, and the moment where I really fell in love with it again. Not only is the editing fantastic, editing is something the show has always done well, but the choice to show the different perspectives from the point of the explosion, even down to the exact timing, is wonderfully done. This was also on my rewatch where I realized how many little things I ended up loving about the series were foreshadowed. My favorite small example from the second episode probably being the way Vander pours the juice for Powder, just like he did for her pregnant mother, and that's not all. Like, I didn't even know that this was singed until my rewatch. I don't know, maybe I'm stupid, but I thought it was cool. Vander coming back later as Warwick and breaking Singed out of Stillwater Prison is a great action scene, and I love how him returning forces Vi and now Jinx back together. Hi there, I'm Little Shane, and this is from 7 years ago. I came here to tell you that you better like and subscribe now, or I'm going through a tragic character change. At the beginning of the video, I called Arcane a show that embraces cringe, and what did I mean by that? Because I think a lot of things embrace cringe. But what I'm really getting at is that Arcane is never afraid. It never shies away from doing what it wants to do, and it does it incredibly. Like, a music video showing off how one of our main characters is gassing the Undercity we're supposed to care about, set to your own original music? Well, it better look fucking awesome. It even embraces cringe in the storyline, because you know what's really cringe? Police states. And fascism. Looking at you, Kate. Like I said, Arcane doesn't really have a traditional villain, since in any other story, a few of the main characters would be the traditional villain.
Your mother will have justice. I swear it.
Caitlin Kierman is literally the heir to an Illuminati-type organization and becomes the de facto leader of a police state. So, she's pretty awful. But she's also gay. Kate is a fantastic example of how the goodness of a character is pretty much entirely up to how a story and the characters within it are presented. If you rearrange Star Wars, Darth Vader becomes a tragic lover boy who never made a real mistake. And some people already feel that way. Giving Kate just enough sympathy to make you understand her, and then giving you a romance that actually makes you like her, gives you a lot of leeway when it comes to the other stuff. Plus, she does literally help murder the other stuff, and gay wrongs become gay rights. Really quick aside, on Netflix China, they had to make it this like weird mind love scene because of homophonia, and I just know that this is the shit Charles and Magneto do every night. Arcane only has a few weak spots that I wanted to mention, weak spots that we could fill with shimmer and grow them strong, but weak spots nonetheless. The prologue, while really rewarding to rewatch, is a little slow and has some pretty clunky exposition. I already made fun of the dialogue a little bit, which overall I think is fine, if not just a little corny sometimes, but the exposition in the first few episodes can be really hand-holdy. But if Mel were holding my hand, I wouldn't mind, so it's fine, I guess. Besides Jace not being put through summary execution, my only other serious complaint is that this series wraps up a little too quickly. Usually I like things wrapping up in time for supper. I've been at least 50 years old since I was 10, so I like it when shows get to the point and finish fast. But okay guys, maybe let's slow down a little. I would have really appreciated a little more epilogue, not just to balance out the prologue and maintain my precious symmetry, but to make sure that some of my beloved characters get happy endings, and maybe some others get summarily executed. Luckily, however, there are plans to put shows in Noxus, Iona, Demacia, and my bedroom with Mel, please. But I did forget to talk about one great part of the series, so we'll have to go back in time and to a different reality to discuss it. I have a hat. What could that mean? Echo and Heimerdinger are the two most important characters that I have not really talked about yet. Echo being a Jungle Lane assassin character and Heimerdinger being a support mage. Oh god, I just feel like I was possessed by an unfuckable loser. Like, a different one. This is one of my favorite aspects of Arcane. In the third act of the second and final season, they decide to take a swing for the fences again, and it totally works. Echo and Heimerdinger go on an AU fanfic adventure, and for reference, this is when Jace is going through Event Horizon. Heimerdinger took a little bit of time for me to come around on. I was very annoyed by how he kept telling Victor to wait like 50 years to do the next thing. Like, dude, he is dying next week. But anyways, Heimerdinger being kicked off the council forces him to stop being in the way of our protagonists and Jace and do his own thing. I already liked Echo from the prologue, and even more from his formal introduction as the leader of the Green Goblin Gang, and this trip back through time and sideways through events made me like both of them even more. You really get to see how much Heimerdinger's long life affects his perspective. He's just doing the most good he can while he's here, waiting for Echo, who, on the other hand, immediately is willing to give up the basically perfect life that he has here, but he still indulges himself at least one dance, and it shatters my entire soul. When he and not Heimerdinger get back to the present, it is all business, saving Jinx from killing herself like 5 times, which, oh my god, I know so many BPD girls who would give anything to be able to blow themselves up for attention and live. And Echo just beating the hell out of Victor, throwing literal time at his head, who, yeah, I will admit, is no longer a cool guy. Like I said, Arcane wraps up pretty quickly, maybe a little too quickly, but I like the places it leaves every character in. Vi is probably in her least emotionally damaged state since the first episode, and is entering a relationship with Führer King Bradley, which could only go well. Jinx is definitely still alive because you don't throw away a merchandising opportunity like her. Victor and Jace, however, are dead, but with a big ol' question mark and asterisks on that one for me, and Savika has joined a permanent Jubilee 20 conservatives versus 1 liberal. Folks, thank you so much for joining me and talking about one of the best animated series of the past year. Unfortunately, I am being turned into a golden robot with a slut waist, so that is the video for this week. I'll see y'all next time. Goodbye.
I'm a monster!
Hey everyone, thank you so much for watching that video. If you made it to this point, a double thank you as always, thank you so much. I rearranged my office in here. You can't really tell, but I like it a lot. I rearranged it because my parents lended me a new houseplant. This is what I'm showing off for my collection this week. This definitely verges the farthest outside of my normal collection, things as usual, it being a houseplant. And it is too heavy for me to like lift up and show y'all, so I have this leaf that came off while I was moving it. It's very neat. It's a very neat leaf. It used to have more color, but it's dying. Yeah, that's the video for this week, y'all. I'm trying to wrap this part up pretty quickly because this video took longer than I expected. You know, I'm probably the most put upon person in the planet, due to events like that befalling me. But I will see y'all next time. Got some really fun stuff coming up, and I hope y'all have been enjoying the holiday time. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.